Greetings, and welcome to Channel Otherdoc. I'm Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and today we are playing Trail of Cthulhu by Kenneth Hite. It is a game set in the world of H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos, and which uses the Gumshoe system, a rule set designed for investigative games. This is the final one-shot in our, in basically the October series, where I tried to do everything pseudo-horror or horror. So this is, I've been wanting to play this game for a very long time, better part of a decade, so I'm hopefully we'll see how this goes. Just crammed it into my brain the other day, so we'll see how much of that remains. As we go, let's go around and introduce everybody, find out who they are and who they're playing. I will start with Brian. Hello.
Hello. I'm Brian Cooksey, and I am playing Fletcher Sprague, a professor of history.
Awesome, awesome. And now let us go to Vivacia. Hello.
Hello. Well, I'm Vivacia, or Vivi, because that is way easier. Today I'm playing Dr. Marwort, Dr. Viola Marwort. She is a physician with an interest in psychology.
I'm sure that'll come in quite handy today. And we now have a new face for the channel, Kevin. Hello.
Hello. I'm Kevin Kutleta, and I'm playing Vincent Devereaux, a police detective with the Portland Police Department.
Excellent. Yeah, you're a bit far afield because I decided suddenly last night that this thing is in Massachusetts, but it's you can drive to a lot of places up in that region, from what I understand.
On vacation.
Absolutely. And finally, let us say hello to Ozzy. Hello.
Good evening. Good to be here again. I will be playing Freddie Fingers Flanagan, who is a small-time gangster from Arkham.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm glad we have both sides of the law represented here. That's going to be very interesting.
We're going to get along just fine.
Absolutely. I mean, he represents, this is the kind of person you interact with most of the time. Like we do with most games on this channel, we are going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and we'll do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it, or we'll put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know that we're doing okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is we can put an O with a question mark after it when we are moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O, and to let us know if we're still doing okay. So, very important in horror games. Been very important this month. So, this is... The scenario here we have is that our four characters... I kind of left it up to them whether any of them know each other at all. And I guess we'll find out through the course of play if any of that's the case. But there is... It's the 1920s. This is... during Prohibition, before the crash, before the Depression, and this is all taking place in a little sort of out-of-the-way town in New England, the little town of Carver's Grove, Massachusetts. They've had this harvest festival here annually for a very long time. They always have it in what they kind of called the Old Town, the original sort of colonial-ish era Carver's Grove, which is, you have to drive up and you park in this big field, and then you have to go across one of the two bridges to get there, to get to this area that's got plenty of woods around it, and woods and cliffs basically. They pretty much, like I said, been doing this every year for a very long time. They have a lot of things that they set up in the old town square. People are still live in the old town. It's not a thing they only come here every year, but they have things advanced a little bit. And so a lot of the historical buildings were kind of some of them are still being some of them are still in use, some of them are kind of just sort of there, but I'm gonna go around and ask everyone. I told everyone that I would ask each of them for a person. You've been at this festival for a little while. It is now getting on toward dusk. Let me go ahead and change the music to something more appropriate for this harvest festival. It is, and so what there are a lot of things that are expected in here. But before I go on, let me get some folks. So you've each met someone here at the festival whom your character finds interesting for whatever reason, because this is a place you can come and you can meet folks. And so amongst the folks that you have met here, let's find out a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Brian. Who did you meet here?
I have met Father Foster. He's new to the town. He's the new rector at the Anglican Church.
Okay. Excellent.
Originally from Boston, can you believe it?
Oh my God.
Nice to know. That's where Dr. Markwood went to school.
Where? What was it you found interesting about Father Foster?
That he is as fascinated by the history of the area as I am, which is saying something.
Excellent. Cool. Does he have a first name, or do you only know him right now as Father Foster? I'm fine.
Right. Yeah, he just introduced himself as Father Foster. I haven't delved deeper into his past, which
cool.
Maybe I should do.
Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
But that's cool. Excellent.
Yeah.
My other question to you is: did you come here by yourself, or did you bring somebody? It's up to everyone whether they came by themselves or not. But yeah.
Yeah, I came by myself. I teach near here, and I live just 2 towns over.
All right.
But this is part of my sort of circuit of field research, so I know the town, which is the other reason that Father Foster is so interesting to me. It's a new thing in the town, which doesn't happen much.
Wait a minute.
But
so
yeah,
I'm
just
rolling back. What were you saying is the new thing in the town?
Father Foster.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah. Yeah.
But otherwise, just me and my trusty car.
Excellent. What was the primary reason you came to the festival? Just to study the history, or?
Yeah, because people that don't normally come to town will be here, and I'm gonna try to get a chance to talk to them.
Excellent. Cool. All right. So, Vivacia. So tell me, for Viola, who has Viola met today?
Viola has met a middle-aged man who introduced himself as Dr. Herbert West. He's a small-town physician. He is tall, thin, and straggly. And
all right, before we proceed,
mm-hmm.
I'm just going to ask briefly. I'm okay with including Herbert West in this.
Mm-hmm.
However, things may happen. That's all I'm going to say. Is everyone okay with this character being included? Is everyone all right with this?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, I'm sorry. Proceed. Tell me about Dr. Herbert West.
Well, my main reason to, talk to anybody is because I'm very curious. And he claims that he has a reagent that can reanimate dead tissue, which for me as a physician is very interesting. I don't really believe him, but I'm curious anyways.
Yeah, he's been working on it for a while.
Yes, he has.
And he's been trying. It's a struggle to get funding, really. I mean, for anything, when you're working with any university. So it's just kind of one of those things.
How far away is Arkham?
Yeah, I know, right?
No, I mean, how far away is Arkham from where we are?
How far away is it? No, that's an excellent question. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere here, so I'm just going to say that it's probably. I'm imagining, if I'm remembering correctly, and also, yeah, I am not a Cthulhu encyclopedia. I've read some of the stories, but I'm kind of, if I'm remembering correctly, I think it's like relatively close to the coast, isn't it? Or am I imagining that? Yeah, this is more inland. This is much more inland.
Okay.
It's kind of more sort of on the western end of the state. Kind of where you can get into more sort of is you're going to see more hills, little mountain type things, and sort of thing deal. Possibly. I can't remember. I looked at a few pictures. I didn't know if they were mountains or not. Anyway, let's proceed.
I'm here alone.
You're here alone? Okay.
I'm here alone. My parents passed away not too long ago.
Oh.
I've been a caregiver and always taking care of people. So now she decided she's going to have some fun in a academic way.
That's good. I mean, that's the important thing. Just basically, sort of just taking some time off for yourself. Basically, is the main reason you came in here.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. Let's now ask Kevin. Who did you meet here?
Well, Vince met a kind old lady called Magda. She has a stall selling pies and these really cute babushka dolls. She has like this Eastern European accent. And the cool thing about the babushka dolls is that they're like the one at the top is like a young lady, and as you look further inside, the lady gets older and older until the last tiny one is actually Magda.
Oh.
Like drawn after her.
That's wonderful.
And she kind of it's like her view on life. What got Vince and her talking was that she's a widow. Vince is also a widower, and her husband died before World War One. Vince's wife died a few years ago, and basically she was a long time ago in a situation that Vince is right now just raising a kid on their own.
Yeah.
He's in town on his own. He left Scotty, his son, with the maternal grandparents in Boston, and took off here for a change of scenery, clear his head. Because, let's say, recently the job has had its traumas.
No, that's understandable. That's very understandable. All right, cool. So Ozzy, tell me, who did Freddie meet
I also met an old woman.
There are plenty of them about.
Yeah, lots of them. An even older woman, quite mysterious, sort of hunched over, dressed in more or less rags, who sort of poked me with a bony finger and mumbled something about the importance of the Harvest Festival, and that it was the most important time of the year, and that I should be happy to be here and see what was going on. And I didn't really she sort of shuffled her way up when when I tried to ask more. And the curious thing was that most of the town folk seemed to be avoiding her and throwing her, odd glances and making signs of the cross when she walked past. So not quite sure who or what she was.
Yeah. The religious setup of this town is a little bit. It's not really that odd. It's just there is perhaps a little contention because you have two main churches here. One is the Anglican, and the other is there's a Roman Catholic church here. So it's there is perhaps a little bit of strain between those sects, but it is good to know that they can all unite in the persecution of a poor little old lady. Did she by any chance mention her name?
She did not, but when I asked some of the town folk, they either called her the old hag or Maeve.
Okay. All right. Cool. Excellent. So, we have. Oh my God. Okay. So, as we are kind of lighting about this festival, there are many things that are happening. This festival does have a lot of sort of events for the kids. They do so. The Brewster Farm is the biggest farm kind of in this area, and it still operates from the area, this kind of closed off area of Old Town. They built it kind of, it's this sort of cove is probably the wrong word. I think cove implies water, doesn't it? Anyway, this area sort of between where you have these ravines that kind of sort of cut through, and that's why you have to cross the bridge to get to it. But there was a decent amount of very fertile land here, and primarily the Roosters do mostly. It's they have some animals that they raise. They do sheep and some. And they don't do as many horses as they used to traditionally, as that's kind of to an extent been phased out. But they do still have they have a horse or two. But then they primarily these days they raise they raise crops. It's corn. This year they have a pumpkin patch that people will come into Old Town and they'll buy pumpkins to decorate, to make lanterns, that kind of thing. You have a lot of the sort of things that you would expect that at a festival like this, that someone recently researched and then lost his notes, and so he can't enumerate all of these things. But you'll have, they are offering things like hay rides, and there's storytelling. They have a couple storytellers out. They have there's like there's a pie eating contest earlier in the day that has been dealt with. There is indeed a corn maze. The corn maze itself incorporates a few different things. Apparently, if you get to the right place in the corn maze, you can bob for apples. If you get to another place in the corn maze, you can. They have fresh corn on the cob there that they just sort of they're kind of grill for you in a way, and they're doing that. When they do historic tours, it's not exactly the same as it was, but they have a few lectures going on in the town hall. And the businesses up until that are going to be open here that are here in the town square are still going to be open for a bit of a time. Post office is closed, but there's a library. There's still the church at the end, which is actually the Catholic church that's there, presided over by Father Willard Coffin, is his name. He's given a couple of orations. There is like I said, there's a town hall, there's the antique shop, there's a barber shop. There's a sort of an art gallery that is kind of open, and a bunch of folks, even just sort of locals have come. It's not really, it's kind of an art gallery. It's not, they tried to do it's mostly for, it's kind of used in part as a art gallery and sort of school, folk art type deal. It's not like a huge thing. There is also a graveyard that I have not put on the map, but perhaps I should. So that's basically what we've got in terms of the layout here. So I think as we are getting kind of into evening, some of the folks who have brought kids are heading out. Because it's getting a little bit later. There are some events that are going to be going on afterward, and there is a midnight feast that is scheduled that they talk about, which apparently they've been preparing for some time. But that said,
was the menu mentioned?
Yeah. It's, a lot of pumpkin is on it. There's a lot of that. There's turkey. There's turkey and chicken. They have a lot of chickens up at the Rooster Farm. They're coming out making. They're going to be doing stuff with chicken pot pie, things of that nature also. It's sort of. It's not quite the Thanksgiving fair per se. It's it's a little early for that. They have there is a point soon. Well, before I get into things happening, which more kind of events are coming out at dusk. I'd kind of like to know what each of you are sort of doing at this point in the day. And anyone may feel free to speak up.
So we have a little stance that maybe we'll sell some
Absolutely.
hot tea. Yes, she would probably be sipping some of that. Won't be mulled wine, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that has been a thing of slight, especially some of the older residents of the town have been felt a little bit of disappointment because there is a pub here, but they cannot serve alcohol out of it.
Well, there might be other drinks. Lemonade. I don't know. There's probably things you can make out of corn.
Yeah, probably like apples, warm apple cider that is, non-alcoholic. And she would be, strolling around.
That's the American apple cider.
Yes.
Not the hard cider.
Because
this is not hard cider. This is not that kind
I
of
know
cider.
what you mean.
It's alcoholic.
They have a thing also they have a thing they're calling apple cider that is in fact non-alcoholic. They have a thing also they're calling pumpkin cider that they have made that is also non-alcoholic.
Exciting.
There is that question.
Freddy Fingers will have had occasionally set up a little folding table and invite people to join a game.
You will get some people who will sort of wander over and
find the lady.
And occasionally
find the lady.
There are a few people, so you get a few people doing that. That lasts for a few minutes. Before this place's only police officer comes over. This town's the Constable Edgar Thurlow wanders over, and he is so he's dressed almost slightly old timey today, but he will come over and just kind of shake his head as he sort of now says, "Now we don't want to be taking people for their money on something like this."
I'm not taking people for the money.
This is supposed to be, any kind of, any. I just want to make sure everything here is on the up and up.
Of course, officer. Would you like to give it a try?
Yeah, he says, well, and he just sort of looks up and down. Well, I don't think. And this woman comes up sort of next to him and just sort of grabs his arm, and she says, "Come on, Edgar. Whatever. Let the fella have his fun." And he looks over. He's like, "I will be keeping my eye on you." And he just sort of.
Of course,
off.
officer.
The woman is still standing there, and she looks over. "You'll have to forgive my husband. He is a little bit of gets a little nervous around this time of year. I cannot imagine why that is the case, but
oh, do tell.
He sometimes just wants things to do.
I was passing by on the bus and I thought, I'll stop here for a few hours and see what this harvest festival is all about.
How do you like it?
Well, so far, the corn mess looks interesting, and I might even stay over for the midnight feast because I'm a bit hungry.
Oh, it's very good. You really should. It's really something. It's really something everybody looks for.
So what's your husband worried about?
Honestly, there's really not much he has to do during most of the year. This is where he's most on his guard.
Because of all the out-of-towners coming in.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's when he hired out a poor deputy. I can't really see him right now. I do hope he hasn't gotten lost.
Let me use assess honesty to see if maybe she's hiding something, or there is something that isn't she really wants to tell me, but doesn't want to because there's something that can happen if she does.
Do you want to spend anything, or do you just want to?
This is just sort of the general investigative use of assess honesty.
All right, so you're just checking it out passively. Yeah, I mean, it seems like if you tell me that I need to spend the point, then I will. You don't have to. The way I'm going to approach this is I'm kind of very much of the philosophy that the players kind of decide what's significant in a game. So if you end up spending points on something significant will be found out. But if there's absolutely nothing, I'll tell you. That said, just to sort of generally giving it a glance, it looks like she is not necessarily putting on. She's telling the. It seems like she's telling the truth. She's just about that generally it seems like her husband is bored most of the year, but yeah, you kind of get the sense that she is kind of she is being the slightly overly nice thing,
right?
To you right now, which I mean that's something. It's not hard to pick that up, but that it seems like she's trying to, it's not necessarily deceive here, but she wants you to feel comfortable here.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Okay.
That seems to be kind of what's going on. But she will actually go ahead and she will play the game.
Oh, right, okay.
So, she'll
And I will let her win.
And after a couple of rounds, she's like, "Oh, well, now if I didn't know better, sir, I would think that you were letting me win." Well, I guess
Just repaying the favor.
Beginner's luck, I suppose. And so she's very pleased, and she will basically, you get to talking a little bit, and she actually has contributed some of the. She's been helping organize some of the stuff for the festival, and she's been helping with kind of the cooking of some of the things, that kind of thing.
Sort of looking around and watching people as Fingers usually does, because casing out potential victims and that sort of thing.
Right.
Who seems to be... So it's definitely her. Who seems to be running around and organizing things?
Well, she is, and also, they're not right here, but you've been around here enough today, that you know that the Brewsters have been, it's basically, it's Ike and Doris Brewster, who run the farm, they're a big, in terms of, So Doris Brewster has been, along with, to an extent, and then you've seen kind of her daughter Marjorie running around trying to help out. Her daughter's about 19. She's been helping a great deal with some stuff. Father Coffin doesn't seem like he's actually been organizing things so much, as kind of there are points when he's kind of sort of the MC of the event to an extent, along with the mayor, who has been making appearances. You think the mayor and his wife have been kind of big proponents of a lot of stuff going on today.
Mm-hmm.
That's been the main thing. Let me ask also, as we continue to go around here, just briefly, what has Vincent been doing?
Vince grabbed a couple of slices of pie from Magda's little table. A bit of a nice little glass of hot cocoa, and just sat down on a place where he could eat in peace and look around town, like a vantage point. He's trying to relax, he's getting there, but he's still hardwired to try to figure out if something's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm actually going to use Sense Trouble and spend a point if there is anything to find.
So, there is... Well... I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll that into things as they proceed, but you're kind of sort of keeping track right now. So you're going to go ahead and have the point spent, and then as events unfold, I will tell you some things that are happening that you will notice.
Okay.
But what that means right this moment is you have taken note of where everyone is, for the most part. I mean, it's a town of like 200 people. And, plus you've got tourists. It seems to you that some of the folks organizing things are... It's like some of them sort of wander off from time to time. You're not sure what they're doing.
Okay.
But there's kind of a... Yeah, you did remember hearing that. You remembered that. Yeah, the next thing that's going to be coming up is that Father Coffin is going to give a little speech at the at the edge of the field, sort of on the edge of town, where they've got some stuff set up.
I do have a thought to myself, like, holy hell, a priest named Coffin. That's an ominous name if I've ever heard one.
It is. You also are going to note that of other suspicious things that have been going on, someone appears to be running a three-card Monte game across the way.
It's not my beat, and I'm here on vacation, and he's not doing anything,
Yeah, it looks like the constable's already talked to him.
Yeah, it's the locals. It's the locals.
Yeah.
I do actually try to see if I can spot the local authority.
Yeah, oh yeah, you recognize the constable. He's the only one. He's kind of in uniform, basically. And he apparently has a deputy somewhere, you think. You saw him talk to his deputy, who's a very skinny guy, earlier. But you have not seen the deputy for the last hour. He looked kind of nervous. But yeah, so you've got a pretty good lock on things. Also, Magda will tell you there she kind of seems to have this sort of odd rivalry with this other little old lady, Maeve, who walks around from time to time, and seems very. It doesn't seem to be like all there. Maeve came by the booth briefly, and just talked about, it's tonight, yes. And he says, yes, Maeve, I understand it is tonight. That's very good. That's how this works. It's every year. She gets very excited, she does. They're hoping, she's hoping that that she basically says, town doctor, from what I understand, does try to help her a little bit as she's getting on. She's kind of,
Understandable.
I'm gonna go over to Fletcher and find out what you're doing as we're hitting dusk.
So I'm attending, or actually, I'm assuming most of the lectures and other things were earlier in the day. So I've been
most of them, yeah. I mean, they're gonna still have some things, but yeah.
I've been hitting all of those. I know something about the history of the town because that's kind of literally my job. But I have been trying to get one thing I don't really have too much information on is the greater history of this festival. I've been to a few, like in my youth and on. So I'm talking to people about that, like people who might know when it started and how and that sort of thing.
Excellent. Funny thing, I just found the list. So there's going to be a dance later.
Nice.
I should point this out. We're going to have a dance. You've seen there's some musicians here. There are people who have been selling balloons all over the place today. They're apparently on the farm. They're doing a thing called pumpkin slinging. That some of you have observed, where they will put pumpkins into these little catapults and fire them at each other.
Well, that sounds fun.
Actually, they're usually trying to hit targets, but
At each other, or do they do the who can sling it the farthest?
It's usually who can sling it the farthest. They're not trying to actually kill each other. But you have heard this rumor that after hours they do actually try to fire the pumpkins at each other.
There has been enough pumpkin juice imbibed.
There is also a stall that where there is a puppet show. and there's that the kids have been enjoying a lot. This puppeteer has been doing stuff, and which a few of the attendants. Viola, you've noticed that Herbert has kind of just been staring at it strangely this whole time. Is just sort of like, no.
Yeah, she's definitely people watching, She
Yeah.
likes figuring out how people tick, so she's kind of just hanging around looking at everybody, seeing how they act, diagnosing them in her head.
Good. Oh yeah. There's so much. There's so much here. As people are working out their anxieties and family issues. There are a lot of family issues here. Fletcher, do you want to spend anything, or are you just sort of passively?
No spends just yet.
Okay.
I'm
So-
never not working. So
sure.
this is literally talking to people, taking notes. If taking notes seems to bother them, I will just remember what they said and jot it down later.
Yeah.
Although I will say a lot of the people, a lot of the regulars in town are probably used to me poking around asking questions about, about the 1600s.
Yeah, a lot of these folks, especially the ones that are dressed up in colonial garb, you get the sense that they are on a program.
Right.
That
Okay.
They will tell you things.
I eventually I realized that's diminishing returns.
Yeah.
So then I do what I always do and just go to talk to the old people.
Absolutely. Yeah, then they will keep on going. There are a few things you're going to learn, but actually, and this is shortly before the it's not exactly a sermon, but the Father Coffin's getting ready to head up. But you do run into this little old lady, this sort of hunched over little old lady, who is just kind of actually, she's at the edge of things. She's heading back, it looks like, into the woods when you kind of catch her for a moment, and she just sort of looks up at you, and she says, "Oh, hello.
Evening, ma'am.
Are you you're here for the harvest, yes?
Oh, of course.
Oh dear. Okay. That'll be all right then. It's been very. It feels a little different this year,
Oh, how so?
I get this ache in my corn every now and then, and when I do, usually terrible things are going to appear.
Oh my.
It's not something people like to hear, so I don't make too much of a fuss of it, but
Well,
yeah.
I've made something of a career out of paying attention to what people have to say.
Oh, do you now? Well, I could probably go on for hours, but it's been a heck of a time. But it's a good it's a good festival. I'm glad to see it's still there. They're trying to keep it up.
Yes, indeed.
And you're kind of been looking. She says, "I helped the Father Coffin a little bit with some of the some of the historical information he's up there presenting."
So that's the sort of thing I'm interested in.
A little bit, yeah. He throws in the religion on top of it, but it's aside from that, it's not. Some of the essence of it, I think, still gets through, which is good.
Well,
We've had a kind of a thing, back and forth thing. He doesn't like to be seen talking to me, but he's willing to talk to anyone, really. So it's it's just have to go around the back of the church sometimes.
I know the type. That's useful. Well, you appear to be on your way to someplace. I won't keep you, but
It's just going back to the hut. Yeah.
Oh, you live out towards the woods.
It's safer there.
Safer. Well, I suppose it must be. If you don't mind, will you be around later in the town, or are you packing it in
After
for
dark?
the night? Yes.
I don't know if that's a good idea, but I might be. I might be.
Well, I'd be very interested in talking to you further. Then, it looks like you've been here for some of the things I'm interested in.
Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to remember. What's your name, son?
Sprague. I'm sorry, ma'am. Fletcher Sprague. I teach at Granbury, just up the road.
Oh, yes. Ah, some of the kids who will come around occasionally, and they think they might know some of your. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. This very old, feeble hand reaches forward. This old, feeble claw. You shake her claw.
I'll shake it gently. Yes.
Yeah, and she just she does that thing where she grips the top of your hand and she looks at you intently, and you can call me Maeve. Everybody else does.
An honor to meet you, ma'am.
Do be careful. And she will turn around and she will start heading back into the woods. There is, so at this point, Father Coffin has gotten up on this little, it's not exactly a pulpit, but a sort of little stage that they've set up over at the, again, over in this sort of, this zone between the, where the corner of the town, there's an open area, and just in front of where the corn maze starts at the edge of the farm. There's a little, there is what looks like someone has, so the townsfolk have, there is a sculpture that has been erected nearby, in front of the entrance to the maze, of a figure on horseback, with what looks like antlers. It appears to be made out of.
Are the antlers on the horse or on the person?
on the rider. On the rider. The horse does not have antlers, and the sculpture appears to be made out of some natural sort of grass-like substance. We're not sure what it's called. Sort of a sort of tannish substance that's very hard that you can make chairs and baskets out of, it's to scale. It's the size of a person on a horse, so he Father Coffin will be standing up there, and he has the Bible in front of him, and he reads out, and Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdoms and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. Then saith he unto his disciples, The harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. Now there are many who Now, of course, we know that our Lord was talking about God Almighty, but locally it is a fascinating sort of turn of things, as what we have here, our figure, the Lord of the Harvest, he says, gesturing to the wicker figure, whom we celebrate in that incarnation to aid us in being able to be to be prosperous and bountiful. And it is, as dusk is hitting, I just wanted to, they've asked me to declare once again that the maze is reopened for the night tour. For any who wish to do it. Dancing will be starting up in about an hour, so be sure to get your partners ready. So, some of you will note, so Herbert has kind of just been standing kind of there. He's just like, this is utter bull. Looking at this whole thing. And he just kind of is looking around, and you sort of, Viola will sort of see, because you've kind of kept him out. You're the one who knows who he is. Actually, Fletcher probably also knows who he is. Because he doesn't have a criminal record yet, so Vincent perhaps does not recognize him for that. But he will, he'll just sort of just make this sort of off comment. I was thinking that, isn't there another priest around here somewhere? Weren't they going to debate or something?
Was this is Father Coffin the Anglican or the Catholic priest?
He's the Catholic.
He's the Catholic, right?
Yeah. He's expecting to get a good counterpoint going. I suppose that's not going to be happening. Yeah. So then some musicians mount the stage, and they start tuning up. As they're gonna do a set before the dance starts. And so as night is falling, you'll kind of notice that sort of things have thinned out a bit.
Are there any people walking towards the corn maze?
Yeah, there are some people doing that, yeah. I think...
Yeah, Freddy's going to join them.
All right. You're going to head over toward the corn, because you're following them. Some folks are heading into the corn maze.
I assume this is lit in some way.
Oh yeah. They've got lamps.
Mm-hmm.
These little sort of they're wooden, but lamps on these poles that they've set up throughout the corn maze. It's still it's going to get darker, so it's going to be a little. All right, but people are wanting to get a jump on it so they can look through. And find the different rooms that they've set up here. Yeah. I think Vincent is going to notice that there's some folks kind of now just sort of weaving their way in from the side of the town square where the kind of where the pub is. And they look kind of disoriented. Not sure if they're drunk, but just some of them are
I approach carefully. More to follow closely without being seen.
All right.
Basically, we're going to use shadowing to.
You've got it. They have no idea you're
shadow
there.
them.
Yeah, you do not have to spend anything on that. They are They're sort of kind of ambling their way kind of in the direction. They're not sure where they're going. But they're kind of heading sort of in the direction again of the corn maze. Or really more sort of in the direction of the farm. Some of them. Majority of them.
I just follow carefully.
Okay. Yeah.
Because in case these turn out to be drunk off their asses and about to start trouble, I want to be close.
Yeah.
Also, if they came from the pub, it might be that I need to have a chat with the constable to be a bit more stern about
yeah.
keeping the town dry.
It's a good question. It's a good question. Let me ask briefly before I come back to Freddy. Let me ask, Viola, is there something? What have you been up to?
Well, she's been slowly following, the little exodus that's going to the corn maze.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching and just taking her time. She's not in a rush.
Yeah, you've noticed that some of the people a lot of the people going in are just, going in for fun. This is mostly adults now. Some of them are kind of just sort of wandering around, kind of disoriented. And some folks in the town square are kind of, they're setting up the tables again for, they're clearing some tables that are over by the stage, but they're setting up some tables a little further away in preparation for the feast, which is going to happen later.
The disoriented people, do any of them look like it would worry me as a doctor that they would need help, or are they just generally, because nobody should be drunk, right?
Do you want to spend something?
Nope.
As far as you can tell, it's something that looks kind of like drunkenness.
Mm-hmm.
As far as you can tell, nothing, but it's like there is something a tiny bit off. You're not sure what it is.
Am I able to approach one of them just to
sure.
see if, just ask a couple questions how they are,
Sure. So there is you get up to someone, and most of these people, as far as you can tell, you think they're some of they're more farmers. Most of the people who from the area who come here are farmers, or otherwise involved in agriculture in some way. So this is this gentleman you kind of sort of waylay. He actually looks like he's got the side of his face actually looks like it's got old burn marks on it. He sort of turns and he's like, "Oh, hi, hi, miss."
Good evening, sir. How are you this fine night?
Oh, I'm good. Oh. I know, I think I was heading to the farm, but I can't remember why.
Has that happened to you before?
I've probably just been overdosing on the pie or something today.
All right. And can I kind of assess, his honesty, just to see, is he just making this up, because he doesn't know me, or is it, what he believes?
No, this is what he believes. This is he seems to be being fairly honest. He's just he's he's a little confused about why he's standing here in this place. He doesn't seem to remember walking here.
Yeah. So what's the last thing that you remember?
Well, I was I think I was talking to. As Jim tries desperately to pull the names up. I was talking to Cecil over there, and we were talking about maybe going and taking a look at the animals again, just because we don't usually get up here. But I think we wanted to head out for a bit, but we didn't go.
And Cecil's still over there? He did not go to the farm with you?
No, he's already he's way over there. He's heading to. He just sort of points, and you see this. You see the figure of someone in overalls just heading toward the farm proper, where they have they actually have animals out in the pen. They're probably in the process of putting the animals away, but putting them in the barn. But there's like a petting zoo, what have you, going on. That's been going on all day. They're finishing that up.
Well, sir, thank you so much for talking to me. I don't want to hold you up away from your friend. And she kind of just reassures him. It's like, and steps away. Just looking at, how many people she can see. It's like trying to assess how many people are disoriented, and thinking of somebody Spike at the pie.
Yeah, maybe. And also briefly, well, there we are. Also briefly, I just need to know if what Fletcher is doing at this moment.
At this particular moment, let's see. This is Father Coffin has finished his speech.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there for that, of course.
Yeah.
So once he was done with that, I'm actually heading towards the pub as well.
Okay. Yeah. You're going to head over to the pub, and you see that they're right now. They're serving things like they're serving apple cider and pumpkin cider, things that are non-alcoholic. And you see there are you see one of the the daughter of the folks that own the farm is there, actually also kind of working the bar right now.
And what was her name again?
Marjorie.
That's it. Okay. Yeah, we've met.
Okay. Marjorie Brewster.
I'll see what sort of it's around dinner time. I'll see what they have, and if there's an open seat at the bar itself, I'll sit there.
Was she in one of your classes?
Yes. In fact, I believe she's probably a freshman this year.
Well, in university she would.
Yeah.
Be. Oh, okay. So, yeah, she basically will be we'll be there, sitting around, serving things. And she comes up. Hi, Professor Sprague.
Marjorie, good to see you.
Yeah. Oh. So you're hanging around for the night activities?
Yes. Well, I haven't been to the festival in a couple of years. I wanted to see how things are, and meet up with a few friends that I don't see as often as I'd like.
What can you remind me what it is that you teach? Is history or?
Yeah, history. But she would if she's a freshman, she might be in my intro class. But if she's, but I also I teach almost exclusively American history.
Mm-hmm.
So there would also be like a Revolutionary War class, that kind of thing.
I think this year she's a sophomore. It's
okay.
Fall.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's been as the sort of so she's sort of serving in things. She's like, oh, there's I think there's some stuff that we've got going on tonight. I think you're going to be really interested in.
Oh, good. Well, I will admit I have been working a bit as well. I can't help myself.
I'm shocked. Can I get you anything?
What do you recommend?
Oh, well, we've got this pumpkin cider we've been making. That's pretty good. We've got we said mostly it's we got snack stuff right now as we're trying to save people's appetites for the midnight feast.
Whatever you think goes well with the cider, I will place myself in your care.
She claps her hands together and she smiles broadly, and she goes to fetch. I think she's going to fetch you. Probably going to fetch some cornbread.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Pumpkin cider. Freddie, you have found your way to the center of the maze.
Ooh.
There is a so there's kind of a little sort of another structure that they've built out of branches and what have you, out of wood. It looks kind of like a sort of it's kind of almost like a house that they've built here. And there is a it looks like for the most of the people that are wandering around in this field, a lot of them are sort of wandering around in a daze. They're just sort of merrily getting lost. Doesn't take you too long to hit the middle because you're all about kind of, puzzling people out, that kind of thing. So, but you're gonna see that as you're looking around here, everyone seems to be avoiding the middle of the maze for whatever reason.
Okay. I'll watch if someone is actually approaching it to see what happens.
Okay. So you're hanging out. You see hold on a moment. I must look at a thing. Is there anything in particular you're using right now?
Oh, okay.
Streetwise might be possible if you wanted to use that.
Yeah. Let's spend because it's more reaction to people, either streetwise or sense trouble.
Oh yeah. Actually, either of those would work.
Okay, I'll spend the point of sense trouble then.
Gotcha. Okay, good. So you kind of as you're sort of wandering in, and you kind of, it takes you a couple of times going in and out of sort of the center area to figure out that no one seems to be approaching it. But at one point you do, it's like you hear it's almost like someone is leaving. And you come around, you don't see who it is because you don't quite get there in time. But as you get it's kind of like you can smell almost like bread baking for a second. or you get this kind of this electric ozone in the air type deal. And you look around, you realize you've crossed over. There's this circle that they have drawn in the ground around this faux cabin, basically, that you can kind of see through there. And there's something that smells not good.
Not good in what way?
It's kind of like an almost... Well, okay, you take a second, you're sort of figuring it out. It's like this sort of rotten smell. So just a little bit. A little bit of kind of like... You know when meat's just starting to go off?
Just wanted to say, I used to work in a meat packing plant, so that sort of thing. In the back room where all the bits get scraped into. It's
like fresh. There's fresh sort of meat. It's maybe not going off completely, but it's like a little bit. Yeah, it's not really. Yeah, just a little bit. It's like it's just there's that, and there's a little bit of a coppery smell.
Right. In that case, I shall be avoiding the center of the circle, of the maze.
Yeah. You're not sure exactly where it's coming from, but you know that once you're in there, that you can kind of smell it a little bit, that it's in that vicinity. And if you had to guess, you'd say that it might be coming from this little cabin.
Well, it's a harvest festival, so there might be some sort of ritual slaughter going on.
There easily might be.
But yeah, let's not get involved in that.
Okay. Let's see. I would like to know. Let's see. I know where Fletcher is. I would like to know where, before, we're going to go to break shortly, but I want to know briefly where Vincent and Viola have positioned themselves at this point.
Ladies first.
So I am not inside the maze.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't made it that far yet since I stopped to talk to, forgot his name, very important man.
Yes.
And so I'm still strolling, looking at the other people, trying to figure out, because, you know, in my scientific mind, I'm trying to figure out why they're all kind of being weird. So I'm looking at the people I have not really just, it's like the maze is not even on my brain right now. It's just like trying to figure out.
There is like, for a few moments, you see something that looks like almost a flurry of activity up by one of the barns, up over at the farm. It's like someone's sort of looking around and is like sort of bolting out, and then is just kind of looking around, and then is like, and then is walking placidly around.
So he was by the barn and then kind of shook himself and kept walking another way?
Yeah.
Is he moving kind of funny? Can I use like my knowledge of medicine just to see if he's walking weirdly or if there's anything off about him, like his balance or anything like that?
Not too much. It's actually similar to what you were just witnessing.
Mm-hmm. So he was heading to go inside the barn, and then
he was heading out of the barn. It's like he was like coming very pointedly out of the barn. Mm-hmm. And then it's like he kind of was just like...
Is there any other people around that barn, or is that barn kind of... Is there like animal pens around it? You know, it's a part of the activities?
That one's a little more isolated. No, it's not really part of the activities.
Okay, can I just saunter over there and just, you know, not get too close, but just kind of see what I can see, hear what I can hear?
You are preparing to do so, when you hear just sort of when you hear that voice again, he says, "Oh, something's caught your eye, I see."
Is it Dr. West?
Yeah. He's just been sort of weird, sort of idly bored, wandering around this whole place.
Yeah, like. So, is he like behind me or like walking next to me or something?
Yeah, he's coming up as if to walk next to you, but if you if you try to dash away from him, he's not gonna like follow you or anything. But
No, that would be kind of weird because I really don't have anything against him right now. He's just a fellow physician.
That's right.
With kind of weird ideas, but yeah. So I kind of wait up for him, and say, well, some of these people kind of just act like somebody spiked the pie or the cider. So I noticed
that too.
I'm a little worried about some of them, especially the older ones.
There's probably some explanation for it. It's looks, like some of them have started. I don't think there's anything atmospheric going on.
Well, I didn't smell anything different, and but I did see somebody coming out of a barn that doesn't seem to belong with the festivities, and he was acting kind of dazed. So I was going to take a stroll over there to see what we can see.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea.
Well, here we go.
So you and Dr. West are heading in that direction. I'm going to briefly now head back over to Vincent and find out what are you up to right now?
I followed the stumbling people. I'm guessing they went through the maze.
Some of them, yeah.
I follow that group.
Okay. You're going to make your way into the maze.
I have a very important question, though.
Mm-hmm.
I ate Magda's pies. Am I feeling anything weird?
Let me ask you something. Did you ask? Did you want to have the special pies? You did note there were special pies.
I did ask what made them special.
So I need to point something out. It was only like kind of after you got a bit of a rapport going with her. And she kind of sort of noted you're off duty, that you ended up with one of these pies, you're only feeling off if you want to, because as you kind of as you sort of smelled it and bit into it, you realized there's rum in it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have.
So
I wouldn't have gone into it.
She wasn't trying to foist it on you. It was like a thing. It's
Yeah,
Vince
has been. Vince, he was pretty much with the system, so he's dry.
Okay, all right. So yeah,
so I would have put it aside.
Yeah, okay. No, she would have been perfectly. She put it away.
Yeah, I took the normal ones. Not the
normal ones are perfectly fine. You're absolutely fine. You're not feeling.
I didn't take the space brownies. No.
But you are feeling fine.
Perfect. So yeah, I follow them through the maze then.
So you're also going to kind of note that as you're heading through the maze, that it's like. A lot of them seem to be wandering off to bob for apples, or wandering off to do the corn barbecuing, or to do there's some painting activities. There's like a few easels at another place in there. There's a There's a place where there's like some kind of sing-along happening, but no one's going toward the center of the maze as far as you can tell.
Okay. So they're just heading off to the different activities.
Yeah, it seems like that's for the most part the weird thing. You do catch briefly. It looks like you see for a second. It looks like someone wearing priest's vestments seems to be walking through toward the center of the maze or away from it. You're not sure. You sort of catch them in between the corn, so you don't see them clearly.
I think I'll head off to the center of the maze, just because in my mind I find it very curious that no one's going there. Like, people seems like they're avoiding it, even if it's not on purpose. It just seems it stands out like a pattern.
So there is someone at the center of the maze. I don't know whether he's hiding right now or not, or he's decided to step away. You decided to step away, didn't you? Was that Freddy, or were you going to still hang around, or were you going to head off? Freddy. Ozzy, can you hear me?
Sorry, yes, I can.
Did you stay?
I
near the center, or
was.
did you head off?
I sort of hung around the edge of the center to see if anyone is actually entering the cabin and what would be happening to them. And I would also like to sort of hide within the corner a bit, so I'm not just standing there where people walk past.
Right. Well.
Just sort of on the edge, not actually going through the corner.
Yeah.
I'm not that stupid. So I can see the center and see the path that's leading up to it.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you've got good stealth. You are hiding. You see Vincent come in. Looking around. Vincent, I think you're not necessarily going to immediately see Freddy. But you're going to, as you're sort of looking around, there's this little sort of makeshift cabin made out of branches in the middle.
Okay. That's a weird one.
Yeah. And you're kind of looking. There is something up. You're not sure what it is, but your police senses are tingling.
Is that like spider sense?
in a sense, yes.
I approach the cabin. Is there... I know it's kind of makeshift. Are there windows, anything to look inside?
Not really. I mean, you can see kind of a little bit between the branches, so you can kind of see there's a thing in there, but you don't see what it is from the outside. So you cross over into this circular area where the cabin is laid out, and that's when the smell hits you. And this is a smell. You know what this smell is because you have smelled it before.
Something's dead in there.
Yes, there is. Now, this is something that has caused you some unrest recently, has it not?
Yeah, partner died.
I think... Did you see your partner's body?
Yeah, he died in my arms.
So, I think we're going to actually have a roll.
Ooh.
We might actually have a roll now. This, I believe, is a stability roll.
Oh, yeah. What's the roll?
So you're going to be rolling a d6. You can, if you wish, spend stability. This is a minor thing. This is you're just smelling. You're smelling what you recognize to be dead body, so this isn't a huge one, but just sort of a minor one.
That is a 2. I am going to spend about
You need to spend before you
Yeah.
roll.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do need to spend before
okay.
you know. Thankfully,
Unless
I
you, have a
didn't know that.
specific, unless you have a specific ability that allows you to spend it
Yeah.
afterwards.
you do
I
have to
didn't
spend
know
before.
that.
But 2 is going to be enough in this case.
Okay.
Because, but because you already know what's here, you just haven't seen it yet. There is. It's not actually as bad a smell as it would normally be. You do note that, but it is the same smell.
Okay. I'm going to move some of the branches aside carefully to get a better look.
Okay, you can actually. There's a door, right? Well,
Oh, there's a door.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it, see if it opens.
I should think about this. Actually, no. You know what? You're right. It shouldn't be a door. It should be a thing where you have to move the branches aside. My apologies.
Yeah, I'm gonna push the branches aside
Okay.
to get a better look.
There is a what looks like. So there's this structure that's inside, and looks like it's been set up. That takes you a second to realize what you're looking at. Seems to have some symbols carved into it, and it looks like it is a wooden altar. There's a bag sitting on top of the altar. A sack, a little burlap sack.
I approach the sack.
Smell is getting worse.
I take a deep breath and then approach carefully. Just want to look at the opening, see what's inside. See if it's. If it's a bunch of dead chicken, fine. Every town has its weird stuff. If it's a bunch of severed heads, that's a different thing.
All right. So you're going to open the sack?
Yeah, I'm going to open the sack carefully, though.
Gotcha. All right. So, this is going to be another roll, another stability roll. Most difficulties are usually like around 4 is what you're looking at. Remember, your stability will go down if you spend it, but it will also go down if you fail.
Okay, I'm going to spend 2 points.
Okay.
And I rolled a 3, so that's a 5.
All right. Yeah, okay. You're fine. You're okay. As you're sort of holding this in. But there is a human... The good news is there's only one head in there. That's all that's in there right now in this sack.
Okay. It's just a head.
Yeah, looks like a man's head.
Okay, I'm going to use evidence collection and spend a point to try to get as much information as I can about when they died, if the cut, anything.
Okay, hold that thought. I just want to very briefly smash cut back over to Viola and Herbert entering the barn.
I kind of feel like the guy who gets the haunting in I forget the board game thing.
Bachello House on the Hill?
That one.
Viola, you're entering this barn, and Herbert is behind you. It's a little dark in here.
So I'm gonna just kind of slow down and let my eyes adjust and listen out, and I'm trying to prepare myself for anything that might come my way, because we don't know if there's any more dazed people in here that might not see me in that door and come for me.
Well,
and I'm going to see if I can sense any trouble in here.
All right. So, just sort of passively here as you're going around, sort of, it's like, you go into the barn. Basically, you keep into the Do you stay near the entrance, or you go further in?
Well, I just stepped inside the entrance so I can let my eyes
Yeah.
adjust.
Okay.
So I'm basically maybe 1 or 2 steps inside the barn.
You
Stepped a little to
don't
the
think-
side.
You don't hear anybody. You haven't seen anybody, but you don't hear anybody in here.
Right, is there a light source, or is it completely dark?
Well, there is a well, no, they don't have lights set up in here. There is a lantern you see hanging on a post that is not lit.
Mm-hmm. Is that post anywhere close to where I am, or is that further away?
It's in the middle. It's in the middle.
Mm.
You can see it in the light from outside.
In the middle of the barn. Well, awesome sauce. So I'm gonna finish letting my eyes adjust and see if I can see anything more, so I don't trip over anything.
Okay. Yeah, you take a moment. As you're doing that, yeah, I think that as you're doing that, yeah. Yeah. You're starting to adjust, and then this light clicks on, and you see that Herbert has a flashlight.
It's like, Dr. West, a little bit of a heads up would have really been nice, sir. It would have been really nice.
Oh. No, I just realized that I had a flashlight in my bag. I just went and grabbed it. He's moving the flashlight around.
Right. Since I probably can't see that much, I'm listening and I'm asking him, so what can you see?
Well, there's a loft, and it's very messy in here. Looks like they've been storing extra sacks of grain and stuff in here. Oh. Huh. Man, he starts moving into the barn.
Right. So I take a breath too to see if I can smell what he smelled.
As you get a little further into the barn, there is this light there is again a light rotting smell.
Right. Which I should know, since,
Yeah.
I have some skill in forensics and cutting bodies.
He's just sort of looking up. It's around here somewhere.
Can we pinpoint the direction at all?
You got forensics. Yeah, you're gonna let's see. Do you want to do you have let me see, where are we? Do you have a thing you want to spend here, or do you just want to
Well, it's like biology, medicine, or forensics, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've got forensics, then that would be good. That'd be the thing you could get here, or you could. Although, actually, I'll tell you what. Before you do even that, yeah, you've got enough in here. I think we're just going to go with this. Yeah, it's coming from the loft.
So.
If you walk around.
So I relate that to Dr. West. So Dr. West, I think it's coming from up on the loft.
Oh, yes.
Something is dead in here.
Shall we have a look?
Curiosity has killed the cat and then brought it back to life. Let's go. There's no way she would not look. She's way too curious. That is all her drive.
Do you go first or second?
No, I would have him go first because he has the light.
Okay. So he climbs up the ladder. And he helps you up. He's like, no, it's probably... There was some more sacks in the back, he says. Maybe under there?
All right. So we can't see anything from the outside. We actually have to move them.
Probably, yeah.
Dr. West, would you like me to hold the light while you move those?
Sure. He hands you the light. He heads over. And see him. He moves the sack aside. He's looking down. You see him, and he's like, "Oh, well. Oh, that's unfortunate."
All right, what have you found, Dr. West?
No, I can't do anything with this, I'm afraid. There's no head.
No heads.
Nope.
Is it an animal?
Of a kind.
You found a human body. Is that
Yep.
what you're telling me? All right,
Wanna
so
see?
I don't really want to, but you know what? I don't really have a choice. So she steps up a little and sees what she can see.
Okay. So let's see. Yes, you're going to look down and see that there is a decapitated corpse.
What
Wearing,
can I see? Gender, age.
Wearing what looks like a nice summer outfit. Male, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to need you to make a stability roll. Would you like to spend anything before you do?
Yeah, let's do 1.
You're going to spend 1? Okay, so it's your roll's going to have +1 to it.
Right, so I zoop 6 and go back over there. All right, 1d6, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's a 6.
Okay, so that's a 7, which means
Yeah.
that you only lose that 1 that you spent.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there you are, staring at a headless body. And as we have now found dead things, I think now is the perfect time to go to break. We will be back shortly. See you soon. have returned, and so there's stuff happening. I'm going to briefly go to Fletcher here, and you hear music starting up outside. Seems sort of almost a very haunting melody, and at this point, Marjorie is going to come back over as a few people are getting up and they're going out and getting ready for the dance. Marjorie says, "Oh, hey, Professor, I think you might want to, while that's going on, you might want to stay in here. We're trying something different this year. I think you might be interested."
I'll take your advice then. I haven't finished my cider anyway.
And she sort of will nod and she'll say, it's well, we'll see how everything's going, but I think you might be interested in what's going on. And she heads out. She doesn't look exactly worried. It's a weird sort of expression she has on her face. And the dance has begun. But no one's out there dancing right now from our party, so let's go. Let's head briefly now. Let's head back to the center of the maze. Yeah, Freddie, you saw Vincent go into into the hut, the shrine, the temple, perhaps, I don't know. And
listening for any screaming, sounds of fighting, that sort of thing.
Well, Vincent made his roll, I believe. And what was it you were doing?
Right now, we're going to be doing evidence collection.
Mm-hmm.
And try to get as much information as I can on the crime scene, so to speak. Anything I can find on the head, from the cut, see if it's a clean cut, a serrated cut, if there's anything on them that might help me identify them, anything that I can glean from this. I'm spending a point of my 2 points.
All right.
Get as much info as I can.
This was a very clean cut. Actually, remarkably so. This was kind of almost as though the whole thing was done with a single blade.
How fresh is the head, so to speak?
Very fresh. If you had to guess, you would say that this person was beheaded at sundown. Also, it didn't happen here. The head was moved here. This is actually. This is, you think, one of the farmers. Well, not one of the farmers. This is one of the. This is one of the out-of-towners that was here from probably from out of state.
Okay. Is there anything I can see on them? Well, it's just the head. The body might have everything. But is there anything in the bag with the head?
Yeah. So there's a little sculpture made again of that grass-like tan substance. It seems, and it is also of the same subject: a person, a horned person on a horse.
Of course. Everything is telling me ritual sacrifice. I'm going to step outside of this. I'm going to leave it as it is, just preserve the crime scene, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go find the town's fucking useless constable.
You,
And it's time I had a little chat with him.
So, what does it look like? Say, if someone just randomly, I don't know why this thought occurred to me, but if someone were, say, watching from a secret place and saw you exit this place, in what manner would they see you exit? What does it look like?
He would have done it as carefully as he came in. Just retracing my steps and putting things back how they were as much as possible. Mm-hmm. Not to make any noise, because the last thing I want is to create a panic.
Okay. Are you visibly upset, or are there any emotions registering on your face right now?
Yes. On my face, there will be an element of shock and suspicion as well. Okay. Like a bit pale, but have that frown and grimace, like I'm thinking already, like trying to. I'm setting up the deduction board in my head.
Yeah.
And something that he would notice is the moment I start thinking, my hand goes to my mouth as if I'm trying to pull on a cigarette that I don't have. Like,
nice.
And then I kind of realize I'm doing just kind of like hold it and put it down, like, and then just keep thinking. And then, like, I have an idea, turn around and head out towards the town proper, the square where the last time I saw the constable doing his rounds.
Gotcha. You are heading out. Freddie, do you do anything, or do you just let him go?
I'm going to wait a bit and then follow him.
Okay.
Or rather, also head out.
Gotcha.
Because he didn't look happy when he came back out, so I'm not going to have a look at what he just saw.
Gotcha.
Especially he looked sort of professional about it. I thought, right. No, I don't want to get caught in a crime scene or anything like that.
Viola. So you and Dr. Herbert West have located this body. West doesn't seem shocked much. He just seems a little disappointed. What are you doing?
Well, I'm close enough to look, and since I do have some skills in forensics and looking at cut-up bodies, because that's how we practice, right? Mm-hmm. I want to see and figure out. It's like what happened, how long, the typical questions you want to ask when you find a body, like what mm-hmm. the heck happened, when did it happen, all of the scientific method questions that would jump into my mind.
Gotcha. Are you spending any forensics on this?
One.
Okay. Yes. Examining the body. First off, just basically, you're going to find a wallet. This is Ernest Stoddard.
Ernest what?
Stoddard is his name on the ID. Mm-hmm. It's not a picture ID. They didn't have those at that point, but
yeah.
He's from New York. And it looks like the head was cut clean off. You're sort of looking around at this at the area. It looks like he probably did not see it coming. It looks like as you're sort of looking around, and you sort of, between the two of you, you get the lantern lit, and you're looking around. I'm just going to say a little time happens as you and Herbert are searching. Herbert's been examining things as well, and so he's kind of helping you out. He's very detached, and you're kind of coming around, looking, and you notice that there is a little bit of it. Now you see a trail of blood. It's not an obvious one, but you can spot a trail of blood that leads from outside into here. It looks like it was killed outside around the side of the barn, and brought in. There is also, as you're looking around inside, there are various. There are some. Now that you've got a little more light, there's some. It looks like they store not only sacks of grain, but also equipment in here.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are like shears and things like that, and on these sort of hooks up on the wall. There is noticeably a gap at a place where there are these couple of pegs up in the wall where you're supposed to hang something big.
And because we can't really tell what it is there any shadows, any rust, anything, that would tell us what shape the weapon is?
You look really carefully. You bring the light source right to it, and it looks like it's probably like sort of on a pole-like thing and a big curved blade.
All right, size.
Yeah, probably a scythe. There's a sickle here as well,
Mm-hmm.
but that's here. But the scythe, it looks like it's the thing that's missing.
Okay. So I turn around to Dr. West, and I tell him about this, and I ask him, "Did you see anything that I have missed? What were you looking at?"
Well, they did it on the. It seems like they did it the moment the sun went down. It would have happened at the exact moment that it would have gone. It would have just stopped being visible over the ridge. So I'm guessing there's a ritual involved here of some kind. I know they don't have any markings like that on the body, but there are a few things that aren't quite there for it.
Oh, those kind of folk
If
tales.
we can find his head, we might be able to find out more from him. We might be able to find out more about what's happened here. But it's very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes me wonder what kind of psyche will get influenced by this kind of folklore to kill somebody right on the harvest night, right as the sun comes down. Well, we will have to report this, and we also can see this trail to probably where the crime scene is. Should we report this first? Should we check out the crime scene?
I wouldn't mind taking another, just making sure we've got all the facts first.
Before we get the constabulary involved.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I mean,
we definitely don't want to panic.
They're going to be trampling all over the place.
Yeah, that ain't going to help at all. Well, let's make sure, we know everything that is to find before they destroy it.
Excellent. And, so you figure out where, just looking at the spot where the murder happened, you don't really see... There's a decent amount of blood there. And there is a slight smell of what could be bourbon.
So we have a murderer with a a broken psyche, and he might be drunk.
Oh, that's not good. That's
That
very
is,
inefficient.
yeah. Can we see any footprints or anything?
You don't get
Just so
drunk
we can
before you go
see.
killing people. That's ridiculous.
Yes, make you sloppy. Mm-mm. So, do we have any footprints that tell us, which direction or how big that person was, or was there a scuffle? Was he, caught unawares?
Looks like the guy was caught unawares, as far as you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
The you're away from trees and what have you, so you don't really have leaves down here to make impressions on for as far as things getting broken up. As far as the land goes, you're not going to get solid footprints per se. It is kind of a fertile enough though that you can kind of you're guessing that whoever it was came up from behind them as they were. It's like. Yeah, as far as you can tell, the victim was standing with their back toward the front of things, and apparently just must have trusted whoever it was that was there. Because there's no sign of a struggle or anything. It looks like they completely took them by either they just snuck up on them or just took them by surprise. But it's either they knew and trusted the person, or it was like a total stealth job. Looks like they it does look like the swing came from behind.
Mm-hmm.
So they were facing away from it when it happened. So they didn't see the scythe coming.
All right, so we have an out-of-towner murdered with a farm implement.
Yep.
Pretty much by surprise. Did not know his death was coming. Dr. West, is there anything else you would like to check out before we report this to the constabulary?
I would love to know where the head is, because if we could get the head. There's a thing I could do to find out more about what happened.
A thing.
Yes.
Could you please be more precise?
So, it's still mostly in the theory stage right now, but what if I told you we could get the victim to tell us what happened to him?
I would tell you that should physically not be possible.
Well, it shouldn't.
No, it should not.
But I've had a lot of success recently in the things that I've been working on, and I think I might be able to. I mean, might only be for a very brief period of time, mind you, but we might actually be able to get a little bit of emotion from it. We might actually be able to get them to. Talk. Yeah, maybe not much, but it might give us something.
Will this hurt the remains in any way? We should not be desecrating a body that a family might be looking for.
Oh, well, it'll stay mostly the same. There are a few physiological adjustments that occur that are minor. It mostly just... The trick being that we have to just keep it... we have to keep the head in a position where the trachea is continuous enough that it can draw in enough to be able to make a response that we can hear. I mean, when a body, as you know, is decomposing, then there are certain changes that happen in any case. Right now, the current version of the serum, it will elevate certain levels, but that is something I don't think most people are going to catch.
I still don't really believe that this is possible. However, right now it is all theoretical because we have no clue where the head is or how to
Yes,
find it.
that is unfortunate. But and again, as I said, we're still in fairly early stages here, so I don't know for certain that it will work. Every subject is different, but it's a definite. I can assure you, it is a doctor. It is a definite possibility.
Well, we might be able to do this once the constabulary has found the head. I might be able to convince them to let us do an examination of the remains to help them and find who did this. Until then, I would like to shelve this because I am still not quite sure that it's the right thing to do.
Well, I'll leave the matter in your very capable hands, Doctor.
I appreciate that very much. Right, so
It's like he's visibly a little excited.
yeah, it's a little disconcerting to her how he really wants to do this.
It's like, oh, there's an emotion. Wait.
It's like this is what he cares about. It's like, yeah, there's a dead person right there that has a family, but hey, let's see if we can get some emotion.
Yeah. So there's that a little bit, but
So I'm guessing we're heading back to towards the town square to see if we can find any member of law enforcement to report this to.
Okay, well, there's a line. The dance has started up. There is music being played. There is a great deal of happiness and falderall occurring right now, as there is a someone actually. There's a piano that someone has brought out here. There's a piano. And yet, despite the fact that we are far to the north, someone has gotten a hold of a banjo, and there's a guitar, and there is also an accordion that's currently being played. The music sounds very weird. A little bit. Well, I'd say it's rustic. There's kind of an odd. I don't know. It's a weird thing to it.
They're just missing bagpipes.
It's a kind of no bagpipes yet. It's a little haunting. Everyone hears this music, and because it's very loud, actually louder than you'd think it could be. And you see on the area in the square, the part designated kind of as the dance floor, as it were, as they which is upper corner here, as they dance before the Lord of the Harvest. Vincent, as you are heading over, you see you're kind of standing at the edge of things, and you spot the constable. He is everyone here looks very happy right now. It seems as though everyone is here right now, celebrating. And the constable is dancing right now with a young lady. You are muted.
I push through the crowd and go straight on a beeline for him.
So here's the thing I need you to do.
Yeah.
Let me check to see what stat this would be. I need you to resist something.
Very good.
Yeah. I think I could put this as we could use sense trouble for this.
Okay.
If you would like to do that.
Yeah.
And again, we are encouraged as keepers not to tell you what the difficulty is. So how many points would you like to spend?
I will spend 3 points.
Okay. So your roll is going to be at +3.
Yeah. That's a 6 in total.
6 in total. Okay.
Yeah.
You step onto the dance floor, and there is a moment of great disorientation for you. The moment you do. And you want to start dancing to the music. You almost feel yourself sort of drifting back and forth. But you are... And it's like this dance is the only thing happening in the world right now. But you manage to just pull yourself out of it.
I instinctively grip like my shirt off. Anyone watching might think that I have like a chest pain.
Yes.
But I'm really just gripping my wife's ring under the shirt.
Yeah.
It's like one of the things that kind of keep me anchored.
Yeah. Freddy, you see him do this.
And I just go
Where are you going?
towards the constable. I'm gonna
Towards the constable? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull him
You
aside.
kind of have this constant fight to keep that impulse to dance back as you are moving across the dance floor. It's almost painful. But you're sort of moving across. You head over to where the constable is. You see him dancing.
The constable, we need to have a word.
He says, "Oh, you want to cut in?"
No, I need to talk to you. I'm Detective Vincent Dever of Portland PD. We need to talk now.
And he's just sort of he spins this girl around, and he says, and he says, "Well, fine, talk." And he continues dancing around you.
I grip him by the shoulder and actually pull him apart from the young lady.
Okay. So we have ourselves a situation where you are scuffling one-on-one. The rules for this are many. What is your scuffle pool?
6.
Your scuffle pool is 6. Okay. So I'm going to let me see here. He's gonna have He would ordinarily have a decent scuffle pool, but you're gonna get to go first.
Okay.
So you're gonna make your roll of scufflery.
I'm going to spend half my pool. 3.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be easier to do this right now than...
That's a 6. Plus
Yeah.
3, 9.
Yeah, okay, so you can pretty much grab him and you drag him out. You can do whatever you want with him at this point because you
I just grab him
completely by
outside
surprise.
of the dance floor, away from that pain, that shock in my head that's telling me, go dance the merry dancing Fantasia.
And he's like,
I just drag him out of there.
"Oh, what's going on? What are you..." And he looks
I take out the badge and put it in front of him.
He looks really tired for a moment. He's also...
I lean him against like a bench.
Yeah. Viola, you and Herbert are going to be walking out, and you're going to immediately spot the constable at the edge of the festivities where everyone is dancing. You see this fellow is holding up a badge and showing it to him as he's sitting him on this bench.
So I would say the constable is not looking very well because, well, he's sitting on a bench. You know, it's sweaty and everything. So I'm gonna try and get over there and see if I can assist.
Okay. So
Use the dance floor.
well, you don't have to get on the dance floor to you can avoid that.
Well, it would make sense because you don't want to go through the dance floor to get somewhere.
What's happening?
I'm going to actually use cop talk, because put him at ease and try to get him on my team.
All right.
I'm like, Constable, I'm Detective Devereaux from Portland PD. Now, normally, I don't get involved in anyone else's speech. This is your turf. I'm on your team, but I need you to explain to me why the hell there is a severed human head in the middle of your fucking corn maze.
Are you spending any of your cop talk on this?
3.
All right.
From my cop talk.
Oh my god. Okay. So he snaps out of it immediately. He's like, "Wait, what? Oh my."
Yeah, there's I flagged the dead guy a few hours ago. One of the out of towners.
Oh, we can't. Something's wrong. And that's when I think that I think is when the screaming starts. The sounds of screams coming from the corn maze, actually. Where, well, let's say that it looked like there were a lot of people still dancing around out here, but perhaps not everybody. The funny thing is, now, Fletcher, you're sitting in the pub still. There's nobody else in here. But you faintly hear what sounds like someone screaming.
Okay. Well, first off, the weird music got my attention, so I was already heading towards the window.
Yeah. Okay.
And then once the screaming starts, I'm like, the combination of curiosity and being a reasonably being a reasonably good guy. I'm gonna go see what's up.
I have an important question for you.
Yeah.
So you're going to be sort of crossing the square. There's a dance in the way. Are you making a beeline through it, or are you going around?
I was brought up properly. I'm not going to interrupt anyone's festival. I'm going around.
You come around the edge, and you hear this screaming it sounds like it's coming from the corn maze. As you're walking up, you also will notice that the constable is now sort of starting to stand up from a bench off to the side, and there is someone is checking him over.
I'm helping him up.
And there's someone else helping him up. There's perhaps another figure standing nearby, but he may or may not be seen.
Right. And everyone except for the constable is someone I haven't seen before, except for just generally maybe walking around here. Yeah. So I make note of that.
Oh, and also you see, I don't know if you might, you see Professor West, or Dr. West is also standing nearby.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm,
so you know him.
I'm familiar with him. Yeah. He's from nearby. Okay. I'll pay some attention to what's going on with the constable right now, but it seems like he is not in any shape to investigate this, and so I'm going to go find out what's happening.
Yeah, everyone seems to notice the screams.
I'm particularly unwisely heading towards the yes.
Yeah. So
someone should help these people.
Viola, Freddy. Someone appears to be just heading right, making a beeline for the for the corn maze.
Well,
tweed suit. That is my defining characteristic. Tweed suit.
Because Freddy followed Vincent, and so he's hanging a bit behind. But so at that point, he's probably just come out of the corn maze.
Yeah, you see, man in a tweed suit is heading right for you.
Okay. The scream? Do I hear that coming from behind?
Oh yes.
In that case, I'm going to turn around and run towards it.
Once I help up the constable, I said, are you good to go?
I'm gonna need just a minute, another minute, but I'll be right in.
Okay, I put my badge, I put it on the outside so anyone can see it, and I draw my service pistol and go.
All right.
Did I hear them
And
talking about the head? Or did I miss that?
I don't know.
Because I'm not quite sure when we came up.
I think that was like one of the last things you said to him just before you realized.
Yeah, I think what you said is they came up the moment I dragged him out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you heard the bit about the head.
So I'm calling out to the cop. Hey, copper.
Yeah.
I know where the body is.
Perfect. Come with me.
All right.
But stand behind, ma'am. Something seems to be going amiss.
All right. So she puts her head in like her oversized bag, and she got a weapon in there too, but she's not pulling it out yet.
Yeah. Out of character, she has a better weapon than I do.
As you all are entering the corn maze, there's a
gun
West
pointed
following?
down, of course. I don't want to shoot anyone accidentally.
There is a moment when the
Thank you.
screaming ceases,
Oh, crap.
and you all see something rising up from the corn.
Well, shit.
In the moonlight, you see something flaps up. It's a thing that's not entirely certain how to describe it. If you were to maybe cross a chicken with a horse, and a mosquito, because it's got all these sort of protrusions from the front legs and this sort of hooked head flapping up, and on its back is a figure clad in black, head to toe, with what look like kind of antler-like things coming up and wriggling from its head. I need everyone to make a stability roll, please.
You think? All right.
I think I will be spending some points for my pool.
As will I. Let's see.
Yep.
I'm going to spend 3 for my pool.
Stability. There we go.
That is a 5 in total.
My
Five
total is 4.
4 total.
All right. I'm gonna spend 2. Let's roll this. All right. I got a total of 6.
6 total.
Whoa. 9 for Freddy.
9 total. Okay, excellent.
I mean, Freddy's from Arkham. This is Tuesday. For
Yeah,
him.
basically. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, sure. The horse mosquito chicken thing. Whatever.
Yeah, you know.
Seen that last Christmas.
They serve those in the cafeteria on Wednesdays. You know, let me look at a number here.
Yeah, Freddy is like, hey, it's Benny.
Yeah. Oh, you.
Let's see. All right, let me look. I gotta look at the number. Where's that table? There it is. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, this isn't nearly as bad as I had thought it was going to be.
Wait. Am I encouraged by this or not, Wolfen?
So the number I was looking for was 5.
Oh, okay.
So,
Good.
anyone who got a 5 or better, because you've seen these creatures at a distance, is okay. Anyone who does not get a 5 or better
That's me.
is going to lose 5 stability.
Okay, crap.
Damn!
All right. So that reduces my pool a bit. All right, let's.
Yep.
All right,
That would
on
have
it.
killed my pool.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So
I have made the proper adjustment.
there it is. It's flapping about. It's got like an arm in its mouth, which it kind of chews over and then sort of hovers over the center of the.
Somebody
maze
else's
and-
arm, or has
and
it
drops
an
it.
arm growing out of its mouth?
Oh no, it's somebody else's arm.
Right.
It's flapping about, and it's spinning
Okay.
around, and it's descending a little closer this time. And you hear another scream coming from where it's descending toward. Looks like
I
it's
am
coming from
going-
where the apple bobbing is happening.
How
One
would you
towards
say
that.
the distance is? Is it close, near, long? Because I want to take a shot.
Right now, it's kind of, this is a fairly big maze. It's long distance right now. So you're going to have to
And-
move to get
Yeah,
closer.
I'm gonna approach until like I'm near.
Okay.
I would say, and then I'm gonna take a shot at the flapping thing because I would like to bring it down.
So you're gonna start. You're gonna get closer. I think what I'm gonna have you do. Is I'm going to see if you can make for me an athletics check to see if you get there while it
Okay.
is still in the maze, while it is still in there in the apple bobbing area.
Okay, I got 8 athletics, so I'm gonna spend 4 for my pool.
All right.
Go nuts with this. That's fortunately because I rolled a 1, so it's a 5.
Okay. Run! What's everyone else doing?
1920s version of parkour.
Parkouring through the cornfield, through the corn maze.
Parkour.
Yeah, I'm definitely running after the thing, and if I can see
Parkour,
it,
that's it.
I will also take a shot.
You want to also athletically try to make it there before it rises, or do you want
so
to
I'm
wait for
gonna
it to?
spend 2 from my athletics pool for a total of 4.
That'll be just enough. So Fletcher and Viola, are you hurrying, or what are you doing?
Well, I'm the only one that's not armed, so I actually am doing something completely different. I'm thinking.
Oh my God!
The most
dangerous.
dangerous thing you can do in the mythos.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, exactly. This will not end well. However, my occult rating is actually moderately high because even though I do not believe in any of this stuff, you don't talk to people in this region without learning the stories, capital S stories, about things that have gone on. So my question is, and maybe I need to make a roll to get the answer to this, is this related to anything I've heard about?
So,
Jersey Devil sort of stuff.
well, if you want to spend, since this is an investigative check,
Yeah.
if you can spend some occult if you have some occult.
I've got it to spend. Like I said,
How much would you like to spend?
like until today, I didn't believe any of this nonsense. Okay, I'm going to spend 3.
Okay.
And then I'm going to make a roll here. So
Oh, you want to make a? You don't. Well, I'm not really counting this
Oh,
as a. Yeah,
it's investigative.
this is
You're right.
investigative.
This isn't general. So I'm going to spend. Yeah, what the heck? I'll do 3.
So, I'm going to have a lot to tell you in a moment.
Okay.
First, I do want to find out what Viola is doing. Because
Yes.
This moment, you're thinking. What is Viola doing?
Where exactly am I right now? As I know 2 of them are running. They're on their way away from
you are
me.
getting to the entrance of the maze, and so you're.
And is Fletcher close to me? Is anybody else close to me?
Fletcher is a bit ahead of you, and Herbert is very close to you.
Though I have stopped running. I will tell you that.
Yeah, Fletcher has stopped running. He's at
And
the
how-
first major intersection.
And how far is the thing away from us?
Right now, it's long distance.
Too bad, can't shoot it.
Can't
Right.
shoot it yet. No.
So, are there any bystanders, or is it just us?
You don't see anyone. You hear people screaming.
Yeah.
As they see, and you hear there's like from nearby someone screaming as this thing seems to be heading to the apple bobbing area. There are people further throughout the maze that seem to be screaming as they might have seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't see where they are. You can't see any of them.
Yeah. Well, she's definitely not a one-off half-cocked person. So she is gonna get out her firearm, just a Colt, and she's gonna move up to where Fletcher is, and ask him if he's okay, since he's the first person that she sees, and is like not even sure who he is.
Ah!
Half a heart attack later, sir.
All right, I'm gonna. Okay, I'll come right back to this because I need to tell Fletcher something. But before I do, it's time to shoot at the. It's time to shoot at the Lord of the Harvest. So, Vincent. And
I
Freddie,
am going to shoot at the flappy thing. I'm going to spend 3 from my pool.
Let's do this in proper order.
Okay.
So the mount is busy right now. The Lord of the Harvest will be able to act. So I just need to find out what's your not pool, but the rating. What is the rating you're using? I need to know the number.
My firearms is 8.
Okay, firearms is 8. Okay, and Freddie, what are you also shooting? What are you doing?
I'm also going to shoot. My firearms rating is 5.
Okay, 8-5. And let's see, the Lord of the Harvest has a scuffling of 10, but is not in range of you yet. You're just coming up, so I am going to let you act first because you are taking them by surprise. The mount, as I said, is busy. So,
It's
Vincent,
wide open field.
go ahead and take your shot. You come into the apple bobbing area. You see that its back is to you right now. And you hear some screaming happening from an area like directly in front of it.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to take a center mass shot at it.
Center mass.
Since I can't see the head.
All right.
Still going to pop 3 from my pool.
All right.
And I'm going to roll. That was a 5 in total.
5 in total. Okay. Let's see. When you are shooting at a thing, for me trying to remember how this works. Dee. Yeah. Wait. There it is. Okay, performing. Target is charging. You got a 5 in total, and let me just look at its. Let me just look at its thing here. Okay, hit threshold is good. Okay, you got it. Yeah. So what damage does your
because I'm near, it's 1. So it's 1d6 plus 1, I think.
Okay. Let's do that.
That's 2 in total.
All right. So yeah. So you get it at a point where it's like, I think you're gonna get it through one of its wings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's now you hear this, you hear it cry out. You hear this. I can't really make the noise. But
No,
it's
trust me, that was horrific enough.
And you've upset it. So yeah, Fingers, what are you doing? You shooting?
I am also going to shoot. I'm going to spend 3 points from my pool
Excellent.
for a total of 7.
Oh, thank Thank you. Thank you for the sub. Thank you so much. Excellent. All right. What have we got? You rolled a 7?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, again, you're going to hit it. And go ahead
Okay.
and give me your damage.
Same distance, so it's a +1 for me. Whoa!
Oh,
and
that's
7
good.
points of damage.
Okay. All right. So, where would you like to... I think you're going to get it, like, right in sort of in the middle of its back.
Yeah,
or in its
some of
side.
it.
You know what? Actually, I'll tell you what. It's turning around.
Or maybe that the ring is connected, so it crashes.
Well, what you're going to do is it's kind of turning around as you fire at it, and you're actually going to get it right through something vital. You're not sure what. This thing is hideous. I am actually, now that you are close up, I am going to have to ask for one more stability roll. Now that you
Okay.
can see it in all of its glory.
I'm going to spend 1 point
With
for my.
it's got an arm in its mouth. Another arm.
Oh,
Spending 1 point from the stability.
Yes.
I'm going to spend 2.
I mean, grab another die.
For a total of 5.
Okay,
6 in
5,
total.
6. Okay, you're okay. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that is a chicken mosquito horse, definitely. Yeah.
Southern Fried in Arkham.
The Lord of the Harvest is not pleased.
Oh, guess so.
They will leap down off the back of this creature you've just downed. Basically, you get it through something vital. It's oozing this stuff that's kind of greenish brownish out of it.
Sap.
And
We'll call it Icker and leave it
we'll
there.
call it Icker. Lord of the Harvest leaps off, brandishing a scythe, and runs at you.
Okay. Is he gonna maintain attack now?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Fun.
Let's see. Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. It's actually, this is he's got 10. So he's going to he's leaping forward, almost in a wuxia style, but not quite. Leaps toward you.
How do I use flee?
That's
a dodge thing?
That's when it comes to your turn. You run.
Right. All right. There's no way to dodge
No, there's
or
no way
to
to dodge.
enhance my
There's no
hit
escape
threshold.
from this. There's
Oh,
no
wonderful.
escape. Let's see. What have we here? I'm going to roll a d6. Let's see what happens. Okay, so that's
That's been fun,
gonna be-
guys.
Yeah, that's going to be a 14. And it's going to do. Let's see.
I mean, it hits, but just barely. It just.
I'm sure it does.
It just went over my threshold by 10.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's just a graze.
Just barely. I'm going to roll a d6 real quick.
Flesh wound.
Okay, 7.
I am still alive.
Okay, 7 health. 7.
I am down to 3.
All right. It's so. Let's briefly head back out to the field. For
At
a
this point,
moment.
they can hear my horrific scream
There's
at
one-
being
Oh, yeah.
So Fletcher.
at being Highlandered.
Yeah. Oh God, that's true. New screaming. Yeah.
So Fletcher, you don't know the mythos name for this creature, but here's the interesting thing about. Then you realize as you sort of connect what you've just seen with the legend of the Lord of the Harvest, and that is that the so. Yeah, there used to be apparently this some sort of rider that would fly down from the sky in some place, and it was supposed to be a fictional town. It was supposed to be fictional.
Right.
Uh,
It's the story you tell
Where-
kids to keep them in the house.
it demanded 13 victims. every year. To sate it and keep it tired enough that it would not then devour humanity.
Right. How often did it return in the stories?
About every year.
Wow. Okay.
About every year or so. Some variations of the tale have it coming back every 13 years.
Okay.
Some variations of the tale have it coming back once a century.
Gotcha. Yep. Lord of the Harvest, indeed. Okay. Yeah. So, literally, fairy stories from my childhood are flying around and eating people. This is good.
They
I'm
are
enjoying.
indeed. And
This is
so-
a good festival. I mean, this is fun. Festivals are fun.
So Viola's right there with you as
Yeah.
you're realizing this.
Yeah. Right. So I just say, good God, the stories were true
What stories are you talking about, sir?
about that thing that would come down and take 13 people away so it wouldn't terrorize the village all year.
Well, so far there's only been one body.
So do I remember any other, like, were there any stories, I don't know, about anybody finding another way around this?
Yeah, I mean, there potentially where story. Well, again, the stories vary.
Yeah.
But yeah, some say that they would that in some of these fictional villages they would just offer up sacrifices.
Which is clearly what's going on here.
In a contained area.
Okay,
to
got
keep
it, right.
From so that it would just take a particular 13.
Like out of towners at a corn maze. Gotcha.
Like,
Okay.
like possibly, yeah, you know,
Yep,
just,
all
just
right,
for
fair enough.
example.
Yeah. Right, okay, I'm on it.
There might be, with the proper, you know, there might be, there was like in one variation of the tale, there was like some sort of magical thing that could be done to send it away. That, you know, maybe it could be banished, if the right information were available.
Right. Which we're a bit pressed for time. I don't really have I don't have the opportunity to visit the library just now.
Yeah.
So
Nothing really said that it was none of the stories say it's invulnerable per se, just
Yeah.
that it's very, very dogged and determined to get those 13 victims as per
Indeed.
the agreement.
So I'll turn to the doctor. I don't know what else we can do. It's going to kill 13 people. But it might be worse now. It might be everyone.
And I turn around and I look at Dr. West and I'm like, any fancy ideas, sir?
Well, I have one. I don't know what'll happen, but I have something that might actually affect it. If that's what I think it is. It's 50-50.
Better than nothing.
I've got something that includes some ingredients that, if it's delivered into that thing's system, it might undo it.
Specify, deliver into the system. Shot.
Oh, well, yeah, it's I've got them in
needle.
shots. And he opens his bag, and he pulls out, he has 3 syringes with a slightly glowing green substance in them. Which he says, I mean, if you're welcome to give it a try, he says, just sort of offering them to anyone who wants to take one. As this, I don't normally do this, but this is apparently an emergency.
All right. I take the syringes and look at them. Kind of
He's been working on some stuff. Yeah. Just brief question, Fletcher. Do you want a syringe or no?
Sure. I'll take one.
Okay, you'll take one of the 3, and Viola takes the other 2. Yeah, the slightly glowing green substance. Viola, you've heard sort of a little bit about what he's been working on. So it's not exactly as you'd pictured it, but it's kind of in line with that. Yeah. He must have added other ingredients since the last paper that he published.
Yeah. So can I still see the Lord of the Harvest? Is he flying,
you can
or
hear
has
it.
he-
You can hear screaming. You can hear. Apparently, there's a fight going on. You think of some kind. You heard gunshots.
Oh, that's
from
true. Yeah.
fairly nearby, actually.
So since he shared with me that he took the bodies, and I say, they had a head at the middle of this corn maze, which they told the constable. So that might have been where the Lord of the Harvest was heading. Maybe we
No pun
should
intended.
proceed and see if we can save
No.
anybody.
Oh yes, yeah. Yeah. I can head that way. Certainly, absolutely. So Herbert's going to go to the center of the maze, which won't take too long. Viola, are you going to the center of the maze, or are you going toward where the Lord of the Harvest is?
Well, I'm thinking with her gun out, she's gonna head, in a normal, not running, but quickly walking towards where the Lord of the Harvest is,
Okay.
to see if, when she gets closer, if there's a chance for her to deliver the serum.
You'll be there in a moment. Fletcher, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm
Same?
I'm heading towards the Lord of the Harvest because
All
I am
right.
I am a smart genius person.
Well, apparently it is indeed harvest time. Okay. It is now Vincent's turn.
Like clutching my chest because I have one very masculine, sexy scar now. I have a gun on my side, and for a moment, like he's point blank, I could just put the gun to his head and pop it, but I'm not entirely sure that's gonna do anything. And this thing looks a walking nightmare. And my kid's already lost his mom a few years ago, and I can't do that to him.
yes. No.
So
no,
I'm
stop.
going to peace out and GTFO.
Okay, so wait, you're running?
I'm running away.
Okay, let me quickly look at this. I guess we could put this on your drive as your duty if you consider it your duty to your family.
Yeah.
So that means
Yeah.
you get back a couple of stability, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but one of my source of stability is my son,
Yeah, so you're
my
gonna
10-year-old son.
Yeah, you're gonna get back a couple of stability as you're attempting to do this, but you're running, and there are rules for that.
Yeah.
So let's see, fleeing from combat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to test either athletics or fleeing.
Fleeing.
And the difficulty is going to be 4. So you've only got one failure
I'm
in
going
your
to
turn.
spend 4
All right.
to make sure that happens.
Awesome.
And I'm gonna roll. That's a 6, so it's a 10 total.
Awesome. You back away, you hop away as it's trying to scythe through you.
Yeah,
And
the
you are
only
going-
thing left is just two lines of fire. And just
And you're so where are you going? Are you bolting away, or are you?
I'm going back out of the maze.
Okay. You're getting past a couple of people on the way.
Yeah, and I'm just clutching my chest, bleeding, and just holding my wound, pressing. As much as I can of the tattered cloth, I'm just gonna pile it on and just press against the wound.
Freddy, it's your turn. You're standing there with the Lord of the Harvest hanging out. What would you like to do?
And you just saw me just say nope.
I'm gonna. So did it flinch from my hit?
You haven't hit it yet. You've only hit the thing it was riding.
Oh, right, yes. Did the thing it was riding hit flinch?
It's dead.
Oh, it's dead. Right. In that case, and they are made out of the same material. So in that case, I'm going to shoot again.
All right, we can give that a shot.
So I'm going to spend
You're at
my...
point blank, so I think you're going to get a +1.
Okay, so I'm spend my remaining 2 points of firearms and I get a +1 for +3. A 5.
Excellent. All right. Yeah, you can hit this. Hitting it's not the problem. So yeah, you go ahead and do your damage, please.
And it's point blank, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's +3. Another 5.
All right. So you shoot it, and it's like, and it looks as though, yeah, you do. The bullet goes through all the way through, and you can't tell if it's bleeding, but you think you did something, and so just sort of it's like sweeps around toward you.
Are the bits falling off?
No, there are no bits falling off that you can see, but now it's the Lord of the Harvest's turn, so in between turns, so Viola and Fletcher, you see Vincent, you see this cop running through, bleeding horribly, Lord of the and you can at this point get to where you can see what the Lord of the Harvest is doing in the apple bobbing area, where there's some gruesome bodies behind it. You're now in direct sight of the Lord of the Harvest, so I will need you both to make one more stability roll each, please.
And 2 stability points.
Uh-huh.
All right, that's an 8.
Okay. So
And mine is a 3.
okay, so that's going to be another 5 stability off of
That's it.
off of Fletcher.
I'm done.
You go into the negatives, by the way. You can go to like -11.
That's good,
I think it
because
is.
that's where I am. Not 11, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're effectively going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
Now, yeah, right now you're starting to be noticeably affected by this.
Yeah.
Where are you? Where are you at? Is it
-2.
-2? Okay, so yeah, you can still act and stuff, but there's a lot. This is exactly a thing that perhaps you have had nightmares about.
Yeah. Literally.
Oh,
I was the kid they were telling these stories to.
Yep.
This is it.
So, Lord of the Harvest is going to swing its scythe toward Freddy, who has just shot it. That's not a very gentlemanly thing to do. Here we go. Oh! So let's see, that's a 1 plus... it's got it now. Okay, so that's 11. I assume your hit threshold is below 11. All right. Now, come on. That's going to be 7. You also can go into the negatives on your health as well. So where are you right now with your health? So Freddy, this slashes you.
Oh, me?
Yes,
Sorry.
it was attacking you. You shot it.
I thought it was Fletcher, sorry.
No.
You said
7 points.
11?
Yeah, it got an 11 to hit you,
Right.
and it did 7 points of damage.
Oh, 7 points of damage, and I'm at 3.
Okay. You are bleeding profusely. But it is... now, I need to get everyone's... I should have done this originally, but I have a feeling this is going to be hard to beat. But what skill pool is everyone... What skill rating is everyone using? Here, Freddy, are you still going to shoot?
After it hit me, I'm not going to shoot anymore. I'm going to flee.
Okay, what's your fleeing rating?
My flee is... Where's my flee? Oh no, there's no flee. I only have
so it's
athletics.
it's going to be either fleeing or athletics, I think, is the other
My
option.
my
Athletics
rating in
is 4.
athletics is 4.
Okay. And Viola, what are you going to be doing?
Did Vince? How far away is he from you? Because he's hurt.
He's you can run back to him if you want.
Yeah, because I see him passing us, and he's bleeding. So I turn around and I run to help
So you can
him.
run back. Okay, so we'll get to that in a second. Fletcher, what's your action going to be?
It's going to be athletics.
Okay, so what's your athletics?
3.
Okay, so Freddy does get to go first.
I'm using fleeing still, so that's a 6.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Vincent gets to run first.
I'm just gonna make it a bit farther.
Yeah. You're gonna make it to
I'm trying to beeline to where my car is, and like the.
You're gonna get to the main intersection of the maze at this point, and you'll be out of the maze next round. Viola, are you going? You're probably going to continue to pursue him, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's fleeing too, because I have a 6 in that.
You have a 6. Yeah, you can keep up. Basically, you can keep up with him, is what. So yeah, you're. So that's just telling me order of actions.
I can help you. Let me help you.
Okay, Freddy, it is now your turn. Go ahead and make your.
So I'm going to spend
athletics roll.
the remaining 2 points in my athletics pool. For a total of 4.
Oh, that's just enough. Okay. Well, actually, hold on. I think it is. Wait. It says plus the number of combatants, doesn't it? It says plus the number of combatants. Fleeing from combat. Oh, 3 plus the number. Excellent. You're good. Yes. You managed to just avoid its scythe, and you're running. You're fleeing. Yep. Fletcher, what are you doing?
I'm going to try to leap on this guy and stab it with the syringe.
Excellent idea. What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly. He died as he lived, leaping on the Lord of the Harvest. Okay, so I'm just spending literally my entire pool, and let's jump on the thing. All right, let me make the roll. All right, that's a 7.
You leap. This thing, you actually managed to catch the Lord of the Harvest by surprise as he's trying to hit Freddy.
Yay?
You jump forward. You jam this thing into the back of its neck. The syringe. The Lord of the Harvest steps forward, shaking. It drops the scythe. It slowly turns, it whips around, and it sees you, and it reaches forward, and it grips you around the neck. It's got this goggle over it, this goggle where you can see slowly flitting back and forth behind it a single eye. And steam rises from it. Its flesh turns a light green, and it's shaking, and ultimately it then collapses. The Lord of the Harvest is deceased.
This does not stop the screaming. In fact, technically it starts new screaming.
Yes. So, as this has gone on,
I am only hoping this thing doesn't do an Undertaker setup.
Oh crap!
Like just
yeah, that's all we need.
So that night, things went kind of strangely for everyone there. There was a lot of Vincent, as you burst out of the corn maze.
I actually stop the moment I hear her voice and just slow down enough for her to catch up.
Okay. Well, as As the two of you sort of make it out of the corn maze, you will note that the dancing went on, and the constable came up and started to ask questions, which you didn't quite have the answers to, but a little bit of
I just pointed to the maze.
Yeah.
It says, you want to know?
And,
Go and take a look. It's your town. This is your beat. You take care of it. I'm out.
This was looked into a little bit, but things went kind of odd. I think, yes. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 go-rounds right now. One is what you do immediately, as more just sort of that evening. What you see happening that evening for your character, and then I will go around, do a second round afterward, after I get a little bit more information.
If I may start?
Yeah, sure. So that evening, what do you do overall?
After getting healed by the doc, and I think more or less catching up with everyone, because I think a couple of us were really hurt. Just talk about, what happened, what the hell that was. And I think at least Vince is going to propose that they all keep in touch, and try to avoid festivals in the future.
It's not a bad plan. I'm going to go
just
around.
Because he can, from a detective's point of view, these people, different experiences and everything, it could be valuable sources of information. He doesn't know what if he finds something similar in Portland. Having a few CIs or just people he can trust, invaluable.
Well, and like I said, the further future we'll get to in just a second. I want to mention a couple of things after we go around once, just for tonight. I'm gonna go counterclockwise. So, Freddy, what else happens for Freddy that evening?
Yeah, Freddy's I think trying to get patched up a bit. Asking anyone who's got some bandages or whatever now, just to stop the bleeding.
Got you.
And
He'll fix you right up.
He will partake from his hip flask generously, and then probably pass out in the corner somewhere.
What else do we see of Viola that evening?
Well, after helping, the wounded and following her calling, she is a curious cat. So she's probably going to drag the Dr. West out to look at the body. Because we have to figure out what this thing is, what happened with the serum, just use our scientific minds and figure out what happened. What is this? What can we do with this?
Oh, yeah, he's quite fascinating.
I know he is all over that. And I am curious, so my drive is getting me there. Cannot, investigate.
What's the last? What does Fletcher do for the? What do we see of Fletcher for the rest of that evening?
I'm back in the pub, shivering over a mug of cider. And
alcoholic.
Unfortunately, at this point, yes. And once I
could
see
help him a little with my psychoanalysis before I go.
And once if I catch sight of Marjorie, the only words I say to her are, "We need to talk."
Go get her.
She looks kind of ashamed. So that evening, after what happens, we see a few little things. We see that for whatever reason, that Anglican priest that came in is not seen again. He's not one of the victims. But he's the only one that it seems as though can't be accounted for at the time that that first victim was murdered.
Hmm.
And those who look into his somewhat into his background will see that it is a bit more checkered than anyone had thought. I think that we see at some point we see Maeve coming to the edge of the woods to sort of actually over by the pub to try to calm and comfort Fletcher. And explain that this, as she explains to him that this whole thing, that it was a good thing that he did tonight. So it'll be quite some time before it happens again, maybe at least a century. She thinks it's a very good thing that there are folks like him around to keep those from only these occurrences from happening only once every century, because she's way too old for that now. And I think we also will briefly at some point, as bodies are being put into some kind of a meat wagon, like as dawn is coming on that evening, we see one of the officers getting ready to start the thing up. And we see someone hopping in the back. And as they close the doors, just smiling, we see the face of Herbert West. There's all the bodies and the body of the Lord of the Harvest. So,
oh no.
Now overall, after that evening, if you would like to tell us what happens to your characters in general, what's the last thing we would see of them if this were a movie, we will do that. And I actually am now going to go clockwise, and so I will start with Fletcher.
I'm back in my office at the college, and it's been several weeks, so I'm still haven't become less pale, but I've cleared a shelf for books on an entirely new subject now.
Excellent. So, again, going around the circle, what is the last thing in this narrative that we see of Viola?
Well, she would return to her practice, and keep focusing on her psychology. She would definitely dig into medical cases to see if any other strange things are happening, because her drive is curiosity, and you would probably see her in her practice poring over medical files of unsolved or supernatural cases before it fades out.
Excellent. Now going around the circle, Freddy, what's the last we see of Freddy?
First we see him on the bus back to Arkham, and then I think he's going to just double down on his schemes and thieving, basically to just, this is reality. Nothing else matters. There is nothing else. It is just money and rich people you get the money from, and general thievery, and just trying not to think about anything else. And drinking, lots of drinking.
Drinking is important. It's a few years before prohibition is lifted, so of course, but you have channels.
Yeah, exactly.
And as we go around, finally, Vincent. What's the last we see of Vincent in this narrative?
The first thing is a bit of a montage of him like going back, picking up the kid from the grandparents. The son like asking like, "Well, what's the festival like?" It's just boring. There's nothing to do. It's just you would have died of boredom there, kid. And then after his partner died, he was pretty much on the desk job for a while. But after this, he actually starts going into the cold cases and try to find the ones that look weird. Like reading on them and like occasionally having that tick for when he used to smoke. And on his desk is a nice Magda Babushka doll.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she gave you one before you left. She was very
grateful. And he starts looking more into the weird stuff that falls through the cracks.
Very good. Yep. In retrospect, for those who continue looking into such things, it's one has to wonder how these things stay quiet in these small towns for so very long, because you can spot a Bayaki a mile away. Well, that brings us to the end of this Trail of Cthulhu one-shot. I'd like to thank everyone so much for playing. I appreciate it. And having the patience with my stumbling through trying to figure out how the whole thing works.
No, it was all great. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was fun.
Agreed. That was excellent.
So we're going to go around.
Very, very good.
Do opposite of the way we started. We did a zigzag, so I'm going to zigzag back from the bottom as we do our outros. We will again feel free to say how you're doing. Say how you what your thoughts. Any other last thoughts about the session and where folks can find you. And we will start with Ozzy.
Yep, this was great. Sort of I love the folk horror element of it, rather than the typical Eldritch horror from outer space thing. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was the build up of tension was brilliantly done. I love that. And yeah, I'm currently in 2 regular games. One is Curse of Strahd on Capricorn Cross's channel. That is usually Tuesdays. Only this week, it's going to be a Wednesday at 7 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, which is currently going to be 3 p.m. Eastern. And on Fridays, we're playing Call of Cthulhu, so the original game. We're playing Masks of Nyarlathotep on Skakev's channel. That is 9 p.m. GMT, which is 5 p.m. Eastern.
Excellent. Thanks so much for playing.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And Kevin.
I had an absolute blast. This was so much fun. Yeah, you can find me at The Lawful Geek everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. Every Sundays, except this week, because I had this wonderful session. I moved to Saturday. But every Sunday at 6 p.m., I'll just say UK time, because time zones. 6 p.m. UK time to 9, I run my D&D campaign set in my own campaign setting. I love the session. I would love to see these investigators meet again somewhere. A cursed hotel in the Bahamas.
Oh, there we go. What could possibly harm you there?
So
just sand, waves, Just sand waves and the things that sleep beneath the sea.
Yeah, just those. That's no problem.
And
Friendly.
on that note, actually, next week, still missing a player or two, but might be running a little one-shot of Call of Cthulhu myself.
Coolness. Awesome. Well done. Well, thank you so much for making the time to come here. That was very cool. And it's very glad to have you on.
It was a pleasure.
Resort by the Bahamas, just very, very friendly sea life. They're very they want to be friends with you, all of them. And now to Vivacia. Hey.
Hey, I definitely had fun playing with y'all. It was awesome. You know, I got very much into character, and I would love to play her again. So normally you can find me on my own channel on Twitch as Vivacia. I normally stream a variety of games, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays, depending on the munchkin that you saw sneaking in because it's her bedtime. And on Thursday, I'm going to be playing a Die Laughing one-shot with the comic Chimera for Halloween, which I'm probably still going to be dressed up as a bat from my work. And then on Sunday, I am playing with on Valdrianth, and we're for the Extra Life Marathon, and we're going to play a game of Fairy Panic. I also am part of a mini campaign with the Great Canadian Guy and Stella Luna, where we are playing a Pathfinder guy, and I am an Ergenazi druid who is super snoopy and stealthy. However, we have not set another time to play again yet. Very sad. But yeah, let's bring these investigators back. You know, Haunted Asylum, I'm in.
It needs to be the asylum that before that was an orphanage, or vice versa. You know, Shellrich Cradle from Thief.
Oh, give me a reason to buy another fashionable hat.
Oh my God. Well, thanks again for coming back and playing. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the costuming. It was excellent. And Brian.
Yeah, I'm Brian Cooksey. I clearly need to up my hat game before the next time I play. And speaking of which, I enjoyed playing with all of you. It was great. I definitely agree that we need to. We could bring this group back for sure. And I'm Vaclam on Twitter, as the bot just told you. I'm also on a podcast called Armor Goes Clank. Link is in the chat, so check that out. And on November 17th, I will be running Scum and Villainy on this very channel, so come check us out.
Nice.
Yep. They haven't opened signups for those just yet, but that's going to be coming up soon.
I don't have my own Twitch channel. I just mooch on other people's Twitch channels.
Jim tempts me with every game he's posting.
Well, at any rate, thanks again, Brian, for coming back. It's always awesome to have you on. And
thanks for running. It was great.
This was fun. Well, I really I do like the game, and I like the system as I'm slowly trying to get a handle on it. Perhaps at some point I will actually have it better in my head. We shall see. And then one of the things, I like the simplicity. I like the simplicity quite a lot.
I thought it flowed well. I didn't. There were no hiccups on my side.
Yeah, so it was. I do like the way that it kind of holds up there. Just a few little fiddly bits to remember about which thing goes where. But this was pretty cool. But once again, as for me, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I've got links down below to my website, Twitter, and YouTube channel. On this channel, in just a couple of days, on Tuesday night, we will have the finale of this month's short campaign, which is Don't Rest Your Head. That is a game about insomniacs who have gained powers through their lack of sleep, and the nightmares can see them. Because they can now see the nightmares.
I wish I was destroyed in real life.
And they've gone to fight them in the Mad City, and they're now currently speeding in a limousine, well, taxi limousine. It's the two have sort of combined. It's a dream world, away from the taxman who is in hot pursuit as they sit there with another nightmare perched not too far from them. More than one, in fact. as it appears to have rescued them. So I'm delighted to see how that ends. And that's on Tuesday. Then nothing else really on this channel until Saturday, at which point we will have the next episode of The Edge of Paradox, our Invisible Sun campaign. We might have a development session in between then and now, but we'll see what timing happens there. And then 1 week from today, Sunday, the first one-shot of November will be The Extraordinary Adventures of Baron Munchausen. This is a delightful story game that I have never actually gotten to play. And so, of course, we're having it on the channel. So desperately want to play that. There's going to be a lot of boasting and impossible things, and I delight in all manner of things like that. Also, so a thing's coming up where I will be appearing on another channel. It's been announced, and it will be a week from tomorrow. On Monday nights, I will be. I think. Well, I don't know exactly when it's going to be starting. We've tentatively maybe a week from tomorrow. We have to figure out what the timing is going to be. But we know that it's going to be over on Tales from the Grim. It's going to be on Monday nights, and I'm going to be running Deadlands.
Yay!
Nice.
I have been running Deadlands since the late '90s, and I am over the moon to be running that game for them.
Which version of Deadlands is that going to be reloaded?
It's going to be reloaded. We're actually, I am, though because I always do this when a new edition comes out, we are trying to use the Adventure Edition rules. And so there's a bit of a hop that goes on. So start looking for that soon. Again, I don't know the exact start date is still hasn't been officially confirmed yet. We have to figure out exactly when that's going to be. But when it happens, it'll be on Mondays. So please check that out because it is a system I adore. I'm running it for people I adore, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. In the meantime, here we have sign-ups going on still. We have sign-ups for Alas for the Awful Sea, which is next month's short campaign that we're going to be doing weekly. Sign-ups for that end on Wednesday the 30th. So that is the last day anyone can sign up for that. Also, technically, the sign-up form is still open. I haven't started casting for the Munchausen game a week from today yet. I know that I am not going to be able to put everyone in who has signed up thus far, but feel free to sign up if you wish, because I still got to go through it all. I haven't gone through it yet, and so I'll figure that out. But I'll probably actually start looking at that either tomorrow or Tuesday, so that'll be when I kind of cut that off. So
it's a most delightful game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All you need to know is if the form still works, there's a chance. That's all I can say. But as always, for any games that are run on this channel, beginners are more than welcome. Well, folks, that is where we've hit. We're going to go ahead when we go to the end card. I'm going to send a raid over to Go JG, Jess's channel. Where there is an Extra Life stream going on, and a game. It looks like the game they're playing is called Adventure Skeletons. So let's go over there and say hi to them. Feel free to hang on if you wish to say hi with us. And again, that will be at the end card. Well, folks, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden. Farewell.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay sane, would you?